Hello, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Stone, and we are going over adverbs today. You will not have a grammar quiz this Friday over adverbs. We're going to spend 2 weeks on this, and you're going to actually have an online quiz, not this Thursday, but the following Thursday. So let's talk a little bit about what adverbs are. But before we get started, I need for you to go get your workbook, turn to page 136, and you also need your red and green colored pencils. So whenever you're done with that, just come back to the lesson and start. Now that you're back, an adverb is a word that generally describes a verb. Adverbs describe verbs by telling how, when, or where an action happens. Many adverbs end in ly. Now it says many, not all, and we're going to read a list in a little bit that maybe half or less end with ly. They're just saying that if there is a word that ends in ly in a sentence, then generally that's going to be an adverb. So let's talk about adverbs that say how. It is so very important for you to be able to pick out the verb in a sentence. So the news reporters work hard. Well, the verb in that sentence is work. So I'm going to say work how hard. So hard is the adverb, and it's telling me how they work. So it's very important for you to be able to pick out the verb. So when we do the quiz online, you're probably going to have to pick out the verb sometimes in order for you to identify the adverb. So you just need to get into practice with that. Another adverb is carefully. Look in the next sentence. They check the facts carefully. My verb is check. Check how? Carefully. Let's talk about adverbs that say when. The evening news will begin soon. My verb, okay, it has a helping verb with it. Will begin. Will begin when? Soon. So soon is my adverb. The team always prepares in advance. My verb in that sentence is prepares. Prepares when? Always. And then lastly, it says where. The news van rushes ahead. The verb in that sentence is rushes. Rushes where? Ahead. So ahead is my adverb. It says notice that adverbs can come before or after the verbs they describe. That's why it's very important for you to be able to find the verb, because usually with adjectives, unless there's a linking verb, the adjectives normally come before the noun. But with adverbs, they can come before or after the verb. And then it gives you some examples below. It says here are some adverbs that tell how, and then you go farther down and it says when and where. So this is just basically a list of adverbs that will tell you how, when, or where, and it describes what? It describes the verb in the sentence. So you're going to be able to use this list when we go to practice set A, but you need to remember it's important for you to be able to identify it for yourself, because you're not going to have this nice convenient list in front of you all the time. So let's go to practice set A. And it says circle the adverb that describes a verb in boldface. Write whether the adverb tells how, when, or where. I'm changing the directions just a bit. We're not going to circle the adverb. We're going to highlight it. Okay, so this is what you're going to use your green and your red colored pencils for. You need to start getting into the habit of finding the verb in the sentence. Well, in these sentences, they put it in boldface. In other words, they darkened it for you. So they're very easy to find. But what I want you to do is we're going to go through and we're going to highlight the verbs in green, and we're going to highlight the adverbs in red. So let's move on and look at number 1. Well, wanted is the verb in the sentence. Now, I go and I say, okay, when, how, or where. So I say wanted how. Well, nothing answers that question. Wanted when. Well, there is this word that says always. So in this case, always is going to be the adverb that describes the verb wanted. So on the line, I'm also changing directions for you. I want you to write the word always, and then I want you to put when, because that's the question it answers. I want you to get into the habit of asking how, when, or where. That's going to help you find these adverbs. Okay, let's look at number 2. It says, she recently got her wish. Got is the verb, so you need to highlight it with green. And you need to say, she recently got, she got how, she got when, or she got where. If you look carefully, you also should look, there is a word there that ends with ly, but it also answers the question when. So you need to write the word recently on the line, put when, and then highlight it in red. So this is what I want you to do. Okay, I'm going to go through maybe 2 more with you, and then we're going to turn you loose, and then you're going to come back and check your answers because I want to see if you can find them. Remember, when you're looking for adverbs, you ask how, when, or where after the verb. So I find the verb. Let's look at number 3. Oh no, this is not an action one. We have that pesky little is. Now, you should be able to tell me if that's a helping verb or if that's a linking verb automatically. We know it's not a helping verb because there's no action verb that goes with it. Is, in this case, is linking what? She, which is the subject, to what? Reporter. So reporter is the adjective describing what she is. So is a linking verb in that case. Now this one is tough. When you go to linking verbs, because they're to be form verbs, so this you have to look and say, okay, is there something in there that describes how, when, or where? If you look in this case, you're going to notice there is the word today. Okay? Today she is a reporter. So today should be highlighted in red, written on the line, and it tells you when. And that one could have helped you if you would have went back to your list on the other page and looked through those words if you couldn't find it. If you get stuck, you can use that page, but you have to get into the habit of being able to find these on your own. All right, let's look at number 4. It says, many other reporters work there with her. The verb in that sentence is work. So you're going to highlight it in green. Now I'm going to ask, work how, work when, work where. Is there anything in that sentence that tells me, that answers any of those questions? There is. It says work where, there. So there in that case is describing where the work is being done, there. So you write there on the line and then you write where on the outside because that's the question that my adverb is answering. All right, I want you to do 5 through 10 by yourself, and I want to see if you can get these. Adverbs are pretty tricky, and that's why we're going to spend 2 weeks on them. And we're going to play some games at school to help you practice adverbs. And we're also going to practice adjectives, nouns, and verbs again, too. But right now, we're just looking at adverbs on this exercise. So go ahead, finish those, get them completed, and then come back whenever you're ready. All right, now that you are back, let's look at number 5. It says the news director plans the assignments carefully. Well, we know we found the verb, or they found it for you. Plans is the verb. So I need to ask, plans how, plans when, or plans where? Okay. Number 5, we see a word in there that ends with an ly. So we automatically know that in most cases, that's going to be my adverb. Now, I'm not telling you all cases that end with ly because it could be a spelling of something like family. Okay, family is a good example. It ends with an ly, but family is a noun. So there's cases where all words that end with ly are not an adverb, but those are the ones that you need to look for at first. So in that case, carefully tells you how they plan. So you should have written carefully and how. I want you to make sure you're not erasing. If you get it incorrect, I want you to correct it out to the side so that your home teacher will know, okay, they're having problems with this. The next one, number 6. We see that interviews is the verb. We ask interviews how, interviews when, interviews where. What answers that question? Often. answers the question when. Interviews when? Often. Okay, do you see how this works? That's why it's important for you to find the verb. Number 7, she tries hard to ask good questions. The verb is tries. I say tries how, tries when, tries where. In this case, she tries hard, and hard is telling me how she tries. Number 8, she travels everywhere for stories. Travels is the verb, so it should be in green, and I should be able to say travels how, travels when, travels where. Well, in that case, it says travels where? Everywhere. So everywhere goes in red, goes on the line, and it needs to have the word where after it. We have 2 more to check. Hopefully you're doing all right on this. Number 9, a camera crew usually follows her. Follows is the verb. We immediately see a word that ends with ly. Can that possibly be an adverb? Well, let's find out. We say follows how, follows when, or follows where. Well, the word usually answers the question when. And number 10, it says, later she writes the news story. Writes is going to be my verb. I ask the question, writes how, writes when, or writes where. If I look in my sentence, the word later is going to answer the question when. When does she write? Later. So that is my adverb. Hopefully you've done really well on this and it's not going to be a big deal, but I know that some people really get stuck on adverbs. We just have to remember the questions how, when, or where. You find your verb, ask the questions how, when, and where. If you can answer that with a word, then that's your adverb. So, hopefully you've done well. And remember, you don't have a quiz this Friday. You'll have an online quiz the following Thursday. So it kind of gives us 2 weeks to practice this, and I will have some adverb games at school. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.